Hello, I'm Aaron Havens. Glad to join you today. I've got a question. Have you ever been leading so hard and so strong with all your passion and you look up one day and you're just exhausted? Well, here's a warning. Excellence and passion can breed death. So how do we avoid this? As leaders who are pushing hard because we believe in something and we want it to be excellent, it's our passion. We can look up one day and find ourselves starving. How do we avoid that? Proverbs 27:7 speaks to this directly. Says this, "A person who is full refuses honey, but even bitter food tastes sweet to the hungry." When you're hungry, junk food sounds good. You're just looking for a quick fix. Andy Stanley writes and asks us to look at gauges in our life and continually judge them. Like a driver in his car would look at his fuel gauge and speed and oil temperature, we need to look at gauges. Here's 3 gauges I would encourage us to look at as individuals and organizations. One, the first, mental gauge, our mental gauge. Mentally, are we learning? Are we growing from the past? Are we purposing and taking the time to learn and grow in the present? And how about our future learning, our future growth? Are we purposing to grow in the future by books and conferences and mentors? How's our mental gauge? Second gauge, our physical gauge. And we can ask questions like, what are our eating habits, our sleeping habits, our exercise? How are we doing physically? And lastly, our spiritual gauge. This is an mostly important gauge. How are we doing spiritually? Are we spending time with God regularly? Continually, without taking breaks? See, physically, if we skip a meal or 2 or 3, we begin to long for food. Spiritually, how are you doing? Are you skipping meals? All sorts of eating disorders should remind us to examine our current state of life. If we are full, guess what? We're good. If we are hungry, we will settle for anything. So as Proverbs 27:7 says, "A person who is full refuses honey, but even bitter food tastes sweet to the hungry." I encourage you to, 1, be a person who is leading with passion for the long haul. And number 2, be a person who is full of God. Have a great day.